I've been as heavy as 450 and as low as 230. I've fluctuated up and down my whole life, but the last 6 years I've been stuck solidly between 350 and 325. I did a total of how much I've lost and gained over my life. I'd confidently say it's over 700 pounds, which is staggering to say out loud. I'm 35 years old and 6'3", and built in odd proportions. Calves built like bull hearts and quads most weightlifters would fucking die for. My upper half is incredibly strong, but covered in a nice buttery layer of self hate, self loathing, and it's absolutely where I carry my weight. It's unfairly disproportionate to the rest of my body. I hate my body. I can't gaze at a window in public. I have to wear shirts that are way oversized just to compensate for keeping my pronounced chest from showing. My wife has started to lose weight, and she looks great. I'm truly happy for her, but I am truly worried. I can't be the fat one in the relationship. In my mind, she will grow tired of that. The weight fluctuates. You have honestly been inspirational, but I do nothing with the inspiration. She recently once saw a photo of you and she said, "Damn, he looks good," which simultaneously gave me hope for myself and also made me feel very small. I'm sorry, almost in a way, that I've written this. I'm not depressed or down in that sort of sense, just desperate to find that lost motivation to regain my composure and confidence that being healthy and thin at certain given times used to give me.
I know exactly how you feel. And I would just say that discipline is of more use than motivation. And I think that there's all kinds of different structural changes you could make that would address this. But number one, I would hope that you would find something about yourself to admire, and then by admiring it, try to improve it. Because I think that it's going to be very difficult to root for yourself to improve from the position of loathing. I just have found that when I'm punishing myself, I don't improve. But when I'm caring for myself, I can, and I do. And so I think it's a point of view that would be beneficial to you to try and shift around, because, not that you got to be suddenly this super confident, like body positive person, but I do think that it requires a little bit of care for yourself to implement the kind of changes that you're looking to make. And that from the position of hatred and despise, I just don't know how far you can get with that, And I don't think motivation is going to be super useful to you either, because it doesn't sound like your wife is thinking about leaving you, but I completely understand that feeling. And let's just play this mental exercise game where we go like, your wife gets super fit and starts running marathons or something, or what, gets into CrossFit or whatever she's into, and her life changes to some degree where that's, she wants to be more active, and you stay static where you are, or even gain some weight and are less active. Is that a relationship your wife is going to want to stay in? So I completely understand this idea of like your wife's getting fit and her life is changing. I don't know that you're going to have long-term success. Maybe if you start to change, then that inspires her to change some more. I think that also, like with spouses, we are the teammates of theirs, right? And so if one is doing something, it's kind of hard for that person to continue on that path with the other person going the other direction. So there's lots in there to try to glean motivation from. But I think even beyond that, just work ethic is going to be superior. Getting up and making some change and sticking to that every day. And I would really recommend against doing anything extreme, because there's no foundation. It becomes a house of cards. It can collapse. Make it slow and steady, right? Even if your first step is just going to be like finding something in the mirror to admire about yourself before leaving the mirror. You know what I mean? Rather than having the thought when you catch a glimpse of yourself be negative, force yourself to find something positive about yourself. And from the point of view that you're going to enhance this person's life. If some stranger that you despised came up to you and asked you for help, would you want to help them? Or if somebody you cared about came up and asked you for help, would you want to help them? I would be way more inclined to help the person I thought highly of or I cared for than I would be inclined to help the person I thought nothing of or I despised or I actually disliked. I wouldn't help that person. And so, if we're thinking about this from the point of view of you are going to have to help yourself, this is all for your benefit ultimately. I think you got to care for yourself first as like a step one. That would be the biggest adjustment I would make, is just to that point of view of you have value, you are worth it, you are worth the effort, and it's from that position that you try to make some changes, right? Not from the position of I hate myself and I want to change so that I love myself. No, no. Change because you love yourself. And that really is just a point of view. And you're allowed to change your point of view. You can change it back if you want, if it doesn't work.